Welcome to the Pulse of Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Dream Project. You can find out more information about our friends at the Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. And we are not in studio. We are not at our usual location at Maxwell Place Pier. We are actually at Pier A Park. A lot of P's here. I'm getting all confused. And we're here with a gentleman that needs no introduction because he is becoming a regular on the show here, and that is Mr. Luca Infantino, owner of Alessio's Cafe. Oh, Luca, great to see you again.
Thank you, Peter, for inviting me.
Of course.
And welcome to our Pier A Park kiosk.
Pier A Park, yes, and that's exactly why we are here, because of course everybody knows he has his original location. I almost said his old location, but he's been there less than a year, over at 539 Park Avenue. And now we're here at Pier A at his beautiful pop-up location, his kiosk. What gave you the idea to bring Alessio's to the waterfronts?
I used to travel a lot before for business, and it was always fascinating to me to go in these European cities, the coastal city of the United States, like San Francisco, like Miami, and see this beautiful kiosk, beautiful container store on the waterfront, full of people, selling food, selling coffee, drinks, or sometimes just a souvenir or something. And I was actually asking the city of Hoboken if we could do something similar on Pier Park, because it's an ideal location. It's very close to the station, gives also same kind of idea of a waterfront living, beautiful view. And the city of Hoboken replied me that there were these two kiosks available that maybe could have been doing something that it was planned for 10 years, never done, and finally after COVID could have been done something. So.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. It really, really is. Now, the menu is obviously a little smaller, let's just say.
Yes.
Just a little. I mean, it's the size of the kiosk than the your original location. But talk to me about what products you have here at this kiosk that people can pick up when you're at Pier A Park.
Yes, so in our main location, I don't call old location.
I'm sorry, I say
call
original.
main location.
Main location.
Main
we'll call it.
location.
Yes, yes. Nothing's old about it.
We are a kind of store that sells a little bit of everything.
Correct.
From the coffees, the pastries, the pizza, the panini, the wraps, and some dessert. What I'm trying to do here is to replicate a little bit what I'm doing over there, of course in a smaller scale, and trying to bring to this market, because I consider this a new market for me, because we are in the middle of Hoboken. Here we are mainly downtown.
Right.
Our most popular panini, wraps, salads, pastries, gelato, and drinks, of course. So in a very smaller scale, we cannot be able to cook anything on site. So we cannot have a big menu, but something very specific, something that we know customer loves it, because we sell in the main location, and we are here with that.
But don't be fooled, folks, by the small kiosk here. I mean, look at the size of his menu. I mean, you can get anything, not almost everything that's at the main location here at the kiosk, and that's what you were exactly trying to do, right, Luca?
Yes. What we try to do is to bring here from the main location the entire food menu we got. Basically, if a customer is not satisfied with our food selection that we have on site, they can scan the QR code and order the food we got in the main location, and our fantastic drivers can bring the food here at the kiosk. They can pay here, they can pay there, they can enjoy the food, they can enjoy our famous pizza alla pala, they can enjoy anything they want from the main location. And instead of having people bringing food from somewhere else, they can have the convenience to have the food here.
And trust me, if you're in Pier A Park, you know that the benches get taken up quite quickly, and Luca's got these beautiful tables. I feel like I'm in a piazza in Rome right now. These beautiful tables right here, so you can order your pizza or anything else from the main location, and in a few minutes it'll be here.
I don't know if you remember,
Talk to me.
These tables inspired me. They were inspired me from my baby blue Vespa.
That's right. The Vespa that I rode in the first show that we've ever done here. Of course, we'll put a highlight reel underneath here to show you. Yeah, that's right. It's absolutely gorgeous. So now, obviously, this is only going to be for summertime. I'm assuming probably in October, November, the kiosk gets a little cold, so there might not be many people. Or are you planning to be here during the winter months as well?
So actually, I'm gonna surprise you.
I love surprises.
We
on
have
the show.
a contract for 1 year because in our project to the city, our main project here is to give a service to the community. Because we are in a state park, the city asks us to do a recreational service where we bring recreation service.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
To the visitors and the residents. We're gonna have seasonal events. I'm planning to bring every week, every month, let's say, artists to do some shows, painters. During pumpkin season, we're gonna do a pumpkin market. During Christmas season, we're gonna do Christmas market. Winter time, we sell soup, we sell coffee. So we are planning to be here until June 2022.
Beautiful. So look at that. If you are living in downtown Hoboken and you're too lazy, no, I'm kidding. But you know, the main location might be a little far for you. You can come right to Pier A Park. He's here for a year, maybe even longer. We'll see, right?
Let's see. Let's see.
Exactly. All right. So now, Luca, this smell from that's coming from this wonderful product that you put on the table.
The bomboloni.
A Nutella bomboloni. And talk to me. You know, I would say this is like a chocolate munchkin, but it's not. It's bigger and it looks more scrumptious. One of your most popular sellers, correct?
Yes.
I'm digging it.
In the main location, this is one of the most popular items. We usually pick it up. We put in the oven so the Nutella inside gets nice and warm, and it's like lava that is in your mouth.
It is so good, so fresh. I mean, you know, nothing better than having this. What a beautiful view here at Alessio's new kiosk. Okay, so tell our audience where people, what are your hours here at the new kiosk? Because I'm going to finish this and I want to stop talking. What are your hours at the new kiosk? Of course, where they can find you, if you have a website, you know, delivery services, so on and so forth, and social media.
Our goal is to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 12 hours. It's a lot of hours for us, considering there's a shortage in this industry for people that wants to work. But we sell coffee in the morning, so we feel like we need to be open here 8 o'clock. And we sell tons of ice cream at night, gelato at night. So gelato. So we need to be at for that time. Our website is alessiosoboken.com. We are on GrabUp, Seamless, all the third-party delivery.
And social media.
And social media, like Instagram is our main source for advertising and marketing, and it's at Alessios-Oboken. And as well as Facebook and anything else.
Fantastic. It really, really is. And folks, for the, you know, more and more people now, Luke, of course, are heading back to their offices in the city. I mean, the Pat Station is literally a block away from here. You'll be there in 2 minutes. Stop by Alessio's, grab yourself a coffee, because who wants to drink that terrible coffee that you get in your offices when you can have a beautiful cafe from Alessio's kiosk here at Pier A Park. And by the way, the jacket, fire. Absolutely fire today. I'm sure it's an Italian designer.
Oh, yes. I used to work in fashion, so I have all of these jackets that finally I'm able to use it.
To use it, exactly. Exactly. Of course, I'm in the t-shirt and the shorts, but you know what? It's okay. I knew I was going to have Nutella all over my lips. Anyway.
And who knows me knows that I'm not wearing a jacket for the camera. I'm always wearing
he's always wearing a jacket. I know that, absolutely. Well, Luca Infantino, thank you so much. Owner of Alessio's.
Thank you, Peter.
Come see his kiosk location here at Pier A Park, and of course, his main location at 539 Park Avenue in Hoboken. We look forward to having you on again, and we're going to get you a media credential.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Folks, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching the Pulse with Peter B, and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back to The Pulse. I'm guest host Pavel Sokolov here with Joshua Einstein Sotomayor to talk about recent happenings, politics, and going-ons in the Hudson County area. So Josh, to start us off, now that it's summer, the mayoral election season is starting to heat up. What do you think are the key issues mayoral candidates here in Hoboken should focus on if they want to get the will of the people?
Well, it's kind of interesting that the terms we use. You're 100% right that the campaign season is heating up, but at the same time, with only one declared mayoral candidate, it's like, how hot can it really get? And obviously, I think everybody that watches knows my point of view. I'm not a fan of the Bala camp, and I definitely like to see some competition. Doesn't mean I would necessarily support the competition,
right,
because there's a lot of overlap in, I think, the bad policies that our politicians pursue, a number of which, even in the Bala camp and the opposition, that I like on a personal level, very nice people, but nonetheless completely butt backwards, so to speak. I would be using a different word, but
so
we're on
television. So tell us about
television.
some of these policies. What stands out to you as something that needs to get changed real quick?
So we need to end the war on cars. I don't own a car. I don't own a bicycle. I have no pony in that race, so to speak.
You don't own a pony?
Correct. I don't even own roller skates. But I do understand that around half of the town actually requires an automobile to go to work, to take care of elderly loved ones, to take care of youngster loved ones, and that having a car is a necessity, whereas, riding a bike for many people is an option. We shouldn't put the options or the wants of the few above the needs of the many, and that's what almost everybody in our city hall and in the mayor's office do right now. They're killing these parking spots by putting in these ginormous bike racks, and I'm not against the bike racks or the bike share program.
Right, we're all environmentally conscious here.
In places that they put them on the sidewalk, I support that, but when it goes in someplace in the street and they end up killing half a parking spot, it kills the whole parking spot. You add that up over the town, and you get a lot less parking spots, and they do this all over the place.
Right, having cars available to our residents makes it economically viable for them to not just work out in New York City, but all of New Jersey is open to them. I myself worked in Morristown for many years, and that wouldn't be possible without having a car available, which means I would need parking to be able to comfortably say that I can leave my car out overnight and nothing bad will happen to it.
Well, it's also a regressive tax on the on people that are in the lower economic strata or lower economic bracket, because if you think about it, when you artificially reduce the supply of parking, what you end up doing is you're raising the cost of the remaining parking. And the city is always happy to do this because that means it can give more tickets. But the same schmendricks, to say it nicely, that complain on the one hand about the lack of economic diversity in town, then pass these measures which create more parking tickets, and the wealthier residents can afford to eat the ticket or can afford $500 a month for a monthly parking spot.
Right. Sometimes we're blind to the disparate impact that our actions would cause, not thinking about the long-term consequences to the people that we purport to be trying to lift up and help. Realistically, all we're doing is pushing the buck down the line, and if something bad happens to them, we tried our best. But realistically,
well, we're pushing the buck down the line and also pushing people out. And it's not government's job on any level to solve all of our problems. It's not government's job to solve my problems or his problems or your problems. But it also shouldn't be government's job to make your life more difficult.
Right, we can agree we shouldn't be creating more problems with government intervention.
And that's what the Bala administration and much of the city council does. Even some of the people that I like very much as individuals with their bad policy proposals.
Right, it makes sense. No one's a single issue voter all the time, but things jump out that disproportionately affect our quality of life. Every day, it gets a little tougher to live in the city, more inconveniences start to pile up, and then people start considering, well, is it even worth living here anymore? We're dead with property taxes and anything else they can think of to tax us with more fees. And of course, for the wealthy residents, they can deal with it. But for many people, they can't. So what can they do?
Well, speaking of taxes and the way they're spent, there's no one currently in City Hall that's been willing to stand up to the county. And the county takes a huge portion of everyone's tax bills. And I'm a renter, so I'm not paying my taxes directly. I'm paying my landlord's taxes. So for all you renters out there that think you're not paying a property tax, you are. So it's something we all need to be cognizant for. We have a county government that runs in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and other than the community college and the county prison, what do we get for it? I mean, we really are just a piggy bank for the rest of Hudson County, and unfortunately there's no one in City Hall that's willing to stand up. And then we look locally, we have, the city pretends that they didn't do more taxes when they created the special business district, special improvement district rather, the Hoboken Business Alliance.
Right.
But the reality is that they did, and once again it's a regressive tax because the large property owner can bite the bullet and spend the extra dollars on that tax. But the small, born and raised or been in Hoboken for 30, 40 years property owner that owns a building that has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units in it, that's more money out of their pocket, and many of them, that's their sole income. So we raise taxes on everybody, and the little guy gets hurt, and we don't get anything for it. And then people in City Hall and Ballo's administration are like, why are we not more economically diverse? Because you chased everybody out.
Right, saying one thing but doing something completely contrary to it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Hudson County, recently we've had elections for Democratic and Republican committee people to represent us to our Hudson County committees. So, Josh, you've been involved in the Republican Party for quite many years here in Hudson County. Where do you see Hudson County going vis-a-vis Republican politics and the things you like to see our leadership do?
So, as all of our viewers, I'm sure, are aware, I'm running for chairman of the Hudson County Republican Party. I was on the Republican State Committee for 4 years. I myself was a past chair of the Hudson County Young Republicans. I've been secretary of the Hoboken Municipal Republican Committee. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, we need more parties. And right now in Hudson County, we only have one. It's the Democratic Party, and the Republican Party under Jose Arango is an adjunct or an addendum to the Democratic Party. You see this in just the bare basic, the way the rules work, right? In other counties and other areas of New Jersey, both parties, including the Republican parties out there, have quarterly meetings, 4 meetings a year. All right? And the term for county committee is 2 years, right? In Hudson County, Arango, afraid of opposition and not knowing how to talk about any of the issues, has 1 meeting every 2 years. So when I'm elected chairperson, it's my promise to the members of the county committee that we will have quarterly meetings, that they, as members of the county committee, will be involved in choosing who gets the line in the primary, who is the official candidate in the primary of the Hudson County Republican Party, because their voices matter. And it's not only that their voices matter, Pavel, it's that the voices of the 30,000 to 40,000 Republicans in Hudson County, they matter. The independents that lean our way, they matter. And they don't have a voice right now because our current chairman is too busy working for the Democrats. I published dozens of op-eds from a policy perspective explaining why, all these different ridiculous measures that they're putting in across Hudson County, from Jersey City to Bayonne, all the way to North Bergen, that all they do is enrich the political class, enrich the connected developer class, and hurt the little person. And that's not okay. We're going to take a stand against that when I'm chairman, and I hope you have your support.
Josh, those all sound wonderful. I think especially during this transformative time across our country, transparency in elections and strong advocacy for our grassroots base is something that we can all aspire to be.
Well, it's time for new leadership. Arango's been there for over 15 years, so it's time for change.
Right, and we can all agree that just because someone has an incumbency, just like our current governor, doesn't mean they're the right choice.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, thank you. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Fios Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in the host chair. We want to thank Pavel Sokolov for guest hosting the last political segment. And as you can see, we are still here at Pier A Park in Hoboken with the World Trade Center behind us. Usually it's the Empire State Building, but today we do have World Trade Center. This is not a new filming location. If you still want to come see us at Maxwell Place Pier, you can. It's just, of course, earlier in the show, we had an exclusive with Alessio's new pop-up location, and we said, why not film the rest of the show here? And now I've talked way too much because I got my man back for a second week in a row, and that is our sports insider here on the Pulse, my man Eric Cruz. How are you, sir?
What's up, Pete? I'm good. I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
I got a lot to say.
Is it because of Sasha Banks' shirt?
No, well, I love the shirt. Sasha Banks is my girl. That's my favorite wrestler.
Exactly.
Right there.
But we're not going to change this into a pro wrestling segment,
not.
right?
I'm ready to talk about Yankees Mets.
Oh, that's what he's ready to talk about. All right. So, and by the way, Mr. Tonneson, don't get upset at us. I swear Eric is not taking your position as pro wrestling insider, but if you fail to keep not showing up, you know, he might have to take over. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, Yankees Mets. We are not even halfway through the MLB regular season. And I think we're starting to see some playoff races shape up already. I mean, 60 games in. Why don't we start with those New York Metropolitans? Because everybody knows I love those New York Mets. And certainly they are in first place at the moment when we're filming this. They're about 10 games over 500. What has been the biggest surprise for you with the Mets so far, 60 games into the season, 60 somewhat games into the season?
Well, I mean, to me, it's not really a surprise. I was just waiting for it to happen when it comes to this team because they're super talented. You know, we talked about earlier how Lindor coming over is going to be a big deal for them, and he started off slow. I think he's going to get the bat going still. He's still in the low 200s in the batting average, but you could just see that he brings a whole different swagger to the team. The guys look like they're having fun. And one of the big deals for the Mets right now is their role players, their bench. You know, they got a lot of guys that are injured right now that aren't playing, big names, guys that they really wanted to count on, and they're not in the lineup right now. But they're getting production from guys like Pilar, VR. I didn't mean to rhyme that on purpose, but those are really the two guys. And guys like Mason Williams. They're stepping up and they're making plays. The Mets pitching is dominant. They were expected to be dominant. I think they've passed that expectation too. They're really good right now, especially with DeGrom. So I just think that they're coming into their own right now. I think this is where they should be, and I think they're only going to get better from here.
I mean, it's so interesting because every time DeGrom pitches, it looks like he's coming out with an injury. Of course, he's got the shoulder, the tender, the fasciitis, or whatever he has going on in his shoulder. But what's interesting is the Mets have gotten very good pitching up and down that lineup. Why don't we talk about Mr. Walker for a few seconds here? Sure. How great has been Tawan Walker this season?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like the Mets, just to hit this real quick, they have a lot of guys that are on one-year deals that are proving. They got to prove to continue their careers, right?
Right.
He's one of those guys. He's come in here comfortable, 6-2 right now. That's his current record. Low 2 ERAs. He fits right into that pitching rotation. He fits right into that clubhouse. I feel like a leader. He's a veteran. He's having right now for me, he's having a kind of like a career year for him. But it's a bounce back year. He's got nothing on the line. He's just going out there doing his best that he can, and he's dominating. So and when you have guys ahead of you like DeGrom, Marcus Stroman, those guys you're looking up to those guys. So you always want to kind of stay at their level, right?
Right.
So with him, I just think that his role, his clubhouse presence is perfect. And I think he's going to continue to have a great year for the
It's just
Mets.
amazing. It really, really is. And then, I believe, Eric, that somebody listened to you on the Mets, though, the last time you were on. Because who were we talking about who was struggling, a 10-year contract that he received?
Yeah.
And, of course, that was Francisco Lindor.
Yes.
And ever since then, I believe his average went from 210 to 254.
Right.
So, I mean, that is a huge jump. And I think he was watching the Pulse on his local cable access station. And he was like, wow, these guys are on me right now. Let me start producing. Good for him to turn around the season so far.
Absolutely. I mean, they brought him over here for a reason. He's going to be a leader. He's going to be the guy that guys go to. They're going to look for him for, advice. He's an experienced veteran. So him coming over and just fitting in again, that clubhouse, there's something about that clubhouse that the Mets, they got something special, I think. They really do. With pitching, the defense, role players, they could really take the season for, into deep October, I think.
And you mentioned this earlier. I mean, the injuries that have plagued this team, and for them to still be this good.
Right.
I mean, a first place team in the NL East. It certainly is. I guess credit to Luis Rojas,
Right.
who has changed this team around.
Yeah, and Conforto, I mean, these guys are going to come. They're coming right back.
That's
They'll
right,
be here at the
Conforto.
end of the month, early July, the latest, I believe. I think that's when they're expected to return. But, we talk about also the trading deadline coming up in the end of July. Getting those guys back, fitting in with that lineup, with that bench, that's like getting guys, off the trading deadline that are just in your system waiting to come back and play. So they have an exciting future. Hopefully they stay healthy.
Exactly. Well, why don't we switch over to the Bronx Bombers,
Yes.
who haven't really been bombing anything lately because they can't hit, right or wrong. And, it's just one of those things because, they're still not out of the AL East race. But when you look at the standings, they're consistently in third and fourth place out of 5 teams in that division. I mean, again, they have injuries. The Mets were able to overcome those injuries. The Yankees, not so much. Will the Bronx Bombers, your Bronx Bombers, turn it around?
Man, it looks bleak right now, to be honest. There's just a lot of holes on the team right now. I want to keep optimism. I want to be optimistic with the Yankees, so I'm going to say they are in it and they can pull it off. But what gets dangerous is, the AL East, the Rays are 7 games ahead. But then that second wild card, who belongs to Houston right now, they're 5 games ahead. So
Wow.
with less than 100 games, those are, it's 5 games, 7 games with less than 100 games. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but the days are going to go by and we have to start winning. If they
But
don't start
hitting
winning,
is the issue. Is it the issue?
to me, it's just they're not getting the production from those big positions. Center field, Aaron Hicks being out, he was a guy that would work the count, get on base. His average was always around the 240s, 250s, but his on base percentage was always over 300. So for a guy like him to be out and then having Voit down for a couple of months, or a couple of weeks, I should say, it hurts the team, and it's not their fault. Injuries happen, but it doesn't seem like they're getting any better with Severino getting hurt in a rehab assignment. So I'm keeping the optimism with the Yankees. I want to be optimistic, but they got to really turn it around, and I think they got to start finding the answers now. Whether it's going out and getting somebody on the deadline or getting them now, they have to get something because even their starting rotation is banged up right now. Herman hasn't been as great as he started off. Montgomery's been consistent. Cole obviously has been great for us, but Kluber going down right after the no-hitter. It's like a domino effect right now.
But we spoke about Luis Rojas
Yeah.
and how he's really changed the team around in his second season at the helm with the Mets. Aaron Boone. I mean, I have to tell you, Yankee fans, except for you, are not very, very patient fans.
Right.
I mean, they want a winner. They want a winner all the time. And when I say a winner, they want to win that World Series every year.
Yeah.
They are getting extremely impatient with Aaron Boone right now. Do you think it's warranted that he might be on the hot seat?
Yeah, I believe so.
Speaking
Because
of hot, the sun is hot right
yeah,
now.
it is. It's great. It's making me more amped up to talk baseball.
There
This is
you go.
baseball weather.
There you go.
But
I love it.
I believe he's got to be on the hot seat. I mean, this is New York, right? But the team hasn't really gotten any better.
Right.
They year after year, even with the shortened season, they start off good and then they get hurt, and they really haven't gotten that secondary third role player in there to help them. They've really been struggling. So for them to go from Game 7 of the ALCS to possibly not making the playoffs a couple years later with the same kind of team, it's dangerous. And yeah, it's going to cost somebody their job. And I don't know. I could be. You gave me a lot of credit. I'm a very impatient Yankee fan myself, but but that's just the era I grew up in. But I think that with the Yankees now making the playoffs, with the team that they have, leadership has to be coming into a question nowadays. So hopefully it doesn't go that way. Hopefully we could turn it around and get into the playoffs and maybe make a push. But he's got to be on the hot seat if they don't get in.
Boy, isn't this great? Can't we talk about this every week or
All
what?
day.
All day, every day. We only had the budget to do a show every
That's
day.
all
I mean, we're hopefully sooner than later. Eric Cruz, our sports insider here on the Post. Thank you so much for coming on
No
again.
problem. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Folks, today's show was brought to you by The Dream Project. You can find out more information from our friends at The Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for joining us this week. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. Have a great week, everybody.
The Pulse with Peter B. is a proud partner of Eyes on NJ.